I'm Macy Maxwell.
I'm Carly Yancey.
This is Carly Yancey. We are doing our final project for our small groups communication as a podcast over fandoms and how they act like subcultures.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this topic. When I saw that you proposed it, I was super excited because I've been a nerd for a long time.
Yes.
As you can see, I'm dressed as the log lady from Twin Peaks today.
It's amazing.
And you are a Dolphins fan today.
Full blown.
You're a Dolphins fan every day.
Every day.
But I was really excited to talk about this topic because it's one that was pretty formative to me in my teenage years. So to start off, I just kind of want to talk a little bit about the history of fandom and fandom culture. So one thing that maybe not a lot of people know is that Star Trek is really kind of where it all began. Trekkies really don't get enough credit in that area, in that avenue, but they are really massively formative to the way that we consume media and the way that communities are formed around media today.
So, real quick, whenever I was doing my research, a lot of my sources were about the origins of fandoms. Star Trek was everywhere.
Yes.
Every single one was like, Star Trek is one of the OGs.
Yeah, it's really interesting because fandoms really aren't a new thing. They've been around since really the 1800s.
Yeah.
I mean, you had people that were just crazy about Sherlock Holmes with Arthur Conan Doyle. But the way that we consume that media and the way that communities are formed around that media today really started with Star Trek. A lot of Trekkies, a lot of fans of Star Trek were part of a larger community called the Lunarians. And they were kind of a larger, just interested in science fiction as a whole. And Star Trek fans were kind of looked down upon within this community. And so they kind of branched off and formed their own community. And so Spockanalia was formed in 1967. It was a fanzine that was kind of distributed out at Star Trek conventions and mailed to fans and things like that. And fans could mail their own submissions in. It was pretty cool. But in Spockanalia was published one of the first forms of fan fiction ever seen. And also one of the earliest forms of shipping. And this is kind of where the word slash fiction comes from. I don't know if you are familiar with that term.
I don't think I've actually heard that.
But it's basically shipping.
Okay, cool.
So because it was Kirk / Spock.
Okay, yes.
So that is kind of where the earliest forms of slash fiction came from. So this kind of shows how these communities started to form in really small ways, and they just kind of exploded, especially with the formation of their own conventions. And a really key member of that was this woman called Joan Winston. And the New York Times did an obituary over her that is just beautiful, and it's really touching, and you can see how important this community and these people were to each other. So Joan Winston was one of the key organizers of the early Star Trek conventions, and this is really where Spockanalia and the convention started taking off. These people are fans, but they have such an impact on the media that they're creating. And so it really is really interesting. So that's kind of early, the early origins of fandom. Fandom as you and I know it today evolved really around the formation of the internet in a massive way. You didn't really have to go to conventions to access a community anymore. You didn't have to read the fanzine, or you didn't have to hope that it would get published in a fanzine. You could just publish it yourself. And so it really increased the participation in fandom. It is so much easier to be a fan of things nowadays because of the internet. So in an essay about online cultures in fandom, Montasar Agirbi and Fatima Smout, they are from Tunisia, and they spoke about the otaku community in Tunisia and globally, and how the internet has really affected the global community. And so they have a quote here, and it says, "Online fan communities do more than merely consume the global media products they enjoy. They also produce cultural meanings and content as a form of expression and representation of their identity. Moreover, fan culture should not be viewed as a simple process of consumption. Rather, it is more appropriately considered through a lens that examines the dynamics and formation of fan culture as a series of interconnected power roles within a context of resistance and adoption. So, like, being a fan of something is a lot different than just liking something. So like there are musicians that I like, that I enjoy. Like I've heard a couple of the Weeknd songs that, I like, but I wouldn't consider myself a fan. I would consider myself a fan of Geese, the rock band. I don't know if you're familiar. But and the difference is that I'm engaging with that online community. I'm sharing posts about Geese with my friends.
Absolutely.
We have a dialogue going. And so it's not just consuming that piece, it's being a part of it and engaging with it. So the internet really has changed a really big portion of how we engage with media and engage with fandom communities. Although, this being said, there is it's kind of a niche subsection of fandom, and if you say that this is a fandom, I think a lot of people who don't really know are gonna be like, no, it's not, but it is, and that is sports culture. Absolutely exists and functions as its own kind of fandom. It does function a little bit differently because of the specificity of sports itself.
Exactly.
So with sports, you have an inherent rivalry. You have, for me, I'm a Stars fan.
Yep.
And whenever I went to go watch the Stars play, they were playing the Senators. I hate the Senators.
Yes.
If you're a fan of the Senators, I hate you.
Yep.
That community is really, really interesting because of the inherent rivalry that is associated with it. Okay, so Martha Newson did a study on soccer fans in her home country, and the study talks about the identity fusion of these fans. And so the study is really interesting because the way that football works in the UK, not football, but football. The way that it works in the UK and really everywhere else is that they have local clubs. So maybe for us it'd be your state or whatever. Your state team and then the national team that goes and plays everybody else. And so they showed fans lineups for the national team. That included members from the local club, and then they showed them lineups that included more members from the rival club. And the ones that were shown, the members with the rival club, were less engaged with the national team. Even though it is still their country, it is still the team that they would want to root for. They were less engaged with it because it was featuring members from the rival club. And so they didn't really engage with it as much. They didn't care about it as much because they hate the other team. Yeah, exactly. And so the intricacies of how those communities, sports communities, specifically sports fandom, works is really, really interesting.
American football is super, super popular. Obviously, we can tell by my get-up. I am a big football fan.
Yeah.
Something that I find super, super interesting is here recently, global games have become very popular with the NFL. This year, we've had games in Dublin, we've had games in Madrid, and there is a spotlight for an international fan of the year. And they have a Texans fan from Ireland who his little commercial gets played during some of the football games now. He is the cutest thing ever, thickest little accent, Texans everywhere. It's so cool. But the fact that American football, that is America-based, is in fact becoming such a global phenomenon, I think is because of online fandoms, online communities, being able to share posts and videos and watch interviews of your favorite players. It's a lot more accessible to be a fan of something that isn't from your country.
Yeah. It is a lot easier to be a fan of something now than it really ever was before.
So something really funny that I recently saw on TikTok was, it's a picture of a couple, like an older couple who's married, and it's the writing over the picture is when she goes through your phone and she finds something worse than cheating. And the next slide is this man, this grown man in his 40s, DMing Dak Prescott every single day before a game, talking about, you're gonna do so good. I had a dream we won the Super Bowl. Like, so stuff like that. And it's so funny because of the fact that this man shared this on TikTok for the other Cowboys fans. Like, it is so a fandom now.
Yeah, like, they really understand it.
Yes.
And so, like, with sports fans, like, while you might not have, like, conventions or, like, the San Diego Comic-Con, things like that, you do have things like the Super Bowl, going to your favorite game. Even if you can't engage with that, there are sports bars that will show, like, your games, and you can engage with other fans there. And, like, you have, like, these people who, like, their very best friends, they met, like, sitting next to them in the sports bar, watching a game together. And so it really is, like, it's a full, like, community. It's a connection that these people have with each other. And it's really interesting the way that sports fans can intersect with other fans. I think you have something really, really interesting to talk about on that note.
Okay, so despite the fact that I am full sports fan today, I do want to talk about a very not sports fan, kind of sports fan now, Swifties. So, Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
They are the bridge to fandoms being both music and sports, in my opinion. I mean, I know when it was announced that they were together, like, Chief sales went up, views went up. The Swifties were like, okay, we'll watch Travis Kelce for Taylor.
Yeah.
So I think that is a super, like, uncommon bridge to have because of the fact that this was really the first time we had a super big pop star dating such a big name in the NFL.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when I was researching Swifties, the term superfans came up quite often.
Yeah.
So with superfans, they are, I don't want to say crazy, but they are crazy about what they love.
Yeah.
They are super passionate. They are the people that are going to be finding the hidden meanings, the Easter eggs in lyrics, the watching a music video being like, this correlates to this and this correlates to this.
Yeah.
Another really interesting thing about the term Swifties and about the community of Swifties is all the subgroups. So many subgroups inside of Swifties. So, to name a few, we have OG Swifties, Swifties of Color, and Gaylors. I love all three so much. Like, that's so fun.
Yeah.
There's also entire classes in different universities dedicated to Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
I remember before I decided on where I was going to go to college, I toured SFA because I was interested in twirling there. That was a selling point, was we have a Taylor Swift class. And that was years ago. And she has only grown from there. So these subcultures are what make Swifties as a whole such a powerful super fan. Because all of these little groups really fall under one big group, and that's what you see. Yeah. It's insane.
I think another aspect of the internet that makes fandom culture in today's society really, really different is because now, and this can be a good thing or a bad thing, but now fans have a direct pipeline to whatever it is that they're a fan of. But it can be really, really dangerous because you have these parasocial relationships that form where people like think that they are obligated to have access to every single aspect of maybe like a real person's life.
The way that the internet has enabled parasocial relationships, like those innocent fandoms and obsessions can go into full-blown obsessions so quickly.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see like what the future of fandom holds.
Absolutely agree.
So yeah, is there anything else you wanted to add?
I don't think so. I think we have really covered a lot. I'm really happy with this.
All right. Well, great. Thank you so much for talking to me.
Yes. No,
It's great. And thank you guys. And have a great day.
Yes.
Yay.